Hey everybody, welcome back. Today is June 15th, 2021, and in this video, we're going to talk about an incident that went down at the Euro Cup this weekend, where Danish footballer Christian Eriksen collapsed towards the end of the first half and required resuscitation efforts before he was able to get lifted out of the stadium and taken to the hospital. And it was a scary enough scene that the game wound up being suspended and was finished later in the day. Now, this video is going to be in a similar vein to the video I made yesterday about magnets in the NBA, where, I'll show you the numerology. However, I don't know exactly what's happening here. In the description below, there's a video I made about the collapse of NCAA official Bert Smith during a college basketball game. And in that video, I say that it should be pretty clear that this was some sort of numeric ritual and that this man didn't really collapse. Of course, I don't really know that. I just thought that's what the numerology pointed to. With an incident like this, it seems even more unclear. You had Christian Eriksen's girlfriend on the field, clearly unaware of what was going on. And, I'm not really going to put out a theory on what's happening, but again, I'll show you the numerology and how this connects to the video I made a couple months ago about Bert Smith. Now, when I made that video about Bert Smith, I had not yet learned about a second incident from the exact same day that occurred in a soccer game in Africa during the Africa Cup of Nations. And in that match, we had the collapse of a referee named Charles Boulou. And similarly to Bert Smith, who laid down in a cross position, this referee also fell down with his arms to his side. And right before his collapse, the players were saying that he was going a little crazy, that he was a little out of it. And it turns out that there were a lot of similar numbers in this matchup between Ivory Coast and Ethiopia to Jesus Christ. And the ritual was very clear in the NCAA game. Remember, this game featured Gonzaga belonging to the Jesuit order, the Society of Jesus. And Bert Smith fell directly on the letter T on the court. And of course, the letter T is the 20th letter in the alphabet. And 20 is the reduction value of cross, which is the shape of the letter. And how strange is it that this guy is laying up in pretty much the exact same position Jesus would have been on the cross? Now, the big reason this occurred on March 30th was because of the date numerology. Notice how March 30th was the first day of the year to have numerology of 74. On top of that, the date March 30th represents the number 33 in numerology. And this pairing of 33 and 74 virtually always points us to this Eclipse crucifixion code themed with the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. So this was a big reason why, the 74, the 33, and again, this was the same exact day that we had a referee in a soccer match in Africa collapse. So how interesting is it that Danish footballer Christian Eriksen, and think about the name Christian in relation to a Jesus riddle, he collapsed on the pitch exactly 74 days after this incident featuring Bert Smith. The name Jesus equals 74 in the standard alphabetical order, so does cross. Jesus said to be the Messiah, which is 74, a tale told in the gospel. This is the primary number of simple English gematria as well. Both simple and English summing to 74, so does Gematria, 74. So let's look at the numbers behind Christian Eriksen. One other incident I'm going to compare this to is the collapse of St. Louis Blues player Bouwmeester, which happened back in February of last year. I did a post on that. Don't think I made a video. But that's linked in this post below as well. So anyway, the date that Christian Eriksen collapsed had a life lesson number of 23. And this stands out in light of the fact that his name, Christian Eriksen, sums to 83, which is the 23rd prime number. The words collapse and football also have an ordinal value of 83. Eriksen collapsed on June 12th, which fell 118 days after his last birthday. And in the standard reduction method, the name Christian Danish Eriksen, summing to 118. This number 83 was also coded into the collapse of Bouwmeester. He collapsed on February 11th, which equals 83. Bouwmeester was born in the year 83, and just like Christian Eriksen, his name also equals 83 in reduction, just like Christian Eriksen. Notice how Bouwmeester, the last name Bouwmeester, has the same gematria as Jesus Christ, 146 and 151. He plays for St. Louis, which sums to 74, like Jesus and Jesus Christ. The game also had numerology of 33, like the word collapsed. The game was in Anaheim, which equals 33, the largest city on the 33rd parallel. Or that sums to 33 anyway. And then furthermore, Daniel Bouwmeester has gematria of 227. We're going to look at how this ties in as well. But first, notice how this is also connected to the eclipse. Now, in the New Testament, Jesus is crucified while darkness falls over the sky. So there's always an eclipse riddle here as well. Notice how the word eclipse sums to 120. This is similar to the phrase cardiac arrest, which is the reason that he collapsed. And this happened in a game against Finland, which also sums to 120. And then the date that the story made headlines was 120 days after his birthday. After the game was resumed later in the day, there was one goal scored in the game. Finland ended up taking the game 1-0. And I just wanted to look at some numbers surrounding the guy who scored the goal, Joel Palo. Notice how his name sums to 60 in reduction. This is the same as Finland in ordinal, 60. And his goal came in the 60th minute. Now 60 is, of course, 30 plus 30. And Pojan Powell was born exactly 30 months and 30 days after Christian Eriksen. Notice how Finland also sums to 33, just like the word eclipse. And it said that Jesus was crucified in the year 33 at the age of 33. The last name Pojan Powell also has matching numerology to Christian Eriksen's birthday. But in order to get to the eclipse riddle, we got to look at Pojan Powell's full name, which sums to 1214 in Satanic Gematria. Now, 1214 happens to be the date of the most recent total solar eclipse. And check out how old Christian Eriksen was on that date. On the date of the 2020 total solar eclipse, he was exactly 346 months old. 346 is a very significant eclipse number right now, as we are in this period of 2 total solar eclipses passing in over the United States, creating an X. And these 2 eclipses are separated by exactly 346 weeks. In Gematria, the phrase the Messiah sums to 346. And remember, this 2020 eclipse was the exact midway point of the 2 great American total solar eclipses. And it turns out that this Messiah riddle is a big part of this. Consider how Jesus, the Messiah, in the alphabetic order sums to 181. Christian Eriksen collapsed 181 days after this 1214 eclipse, on which he turned 346 months old. His first and middle name have gematria of 181. And if you use his last name, it's actually really close, 182. But look at just his last name, Eriksen, 108 and 81. Again, very similar to this 181. But what really pulls this together is that 181 is the 42nd prime number. And Christian Eriksen collapsed right after the clock turned to 42 minutes in the game. The word Eclipse equals 42, so does Denmark. UEFA Euro 2020 also 42. But this is another big biblical number. Remember, the New Testament begins with the 42 generations to Jesus. Both New and New Testament equals 42. You even have the 42-line Bibles. Furthermore, 42 has Gematria of 142, just like Eclipse sacrifice. And check out Christian Eriksen's birthday, the 14th of February, written 14/2. Also pay attention to how he's currently 29 years old. Both the names Jesus and Christ have Gematria of 29. This was a matchup between Denmark and Finland, which has matching 290 Gematria with Christ. The words collapse and football also summing to 29. So a lot of really strong numerology connecting this. And I just want to take another look at Bouwmeester, this St. Louis Blues player who collapsed last year. There was a really strong Jesus riddle in this as well. We talked about how Bouwmeester matches Jesus Christ. He played for St. Louis, which has matching Gematria with Jesus and Jesus Christ. But check out the details about his injury and subsequent retirement. So notice how Jesus in reduction is 11. I talked a bit about this yesterday. The September 11th attacks, which occurred directly on the 74th meridian, being a major crucifixion riddle. We had the two towers in the shape of an 11, flight 11, etc. So Bouwmeester collapses on February 11th, right? The score was tied 1-1 at the time, like the number 11. And then this game got postponed and resumed the following month on March 11th. Remember, March 11th, the date that COVID was declared a pandemic. And then how about this? Bouwmeester officially announced his retirement on January 11th, which was exactly 11 months after his cardiac arrest. What I'm just thinking about now as well is that, he played for St. Louis, and since this time, we learned that the St. Louis Arch was constructed for the Arch Eclipse, which just occurred this past week. And I'm kind of curious to see how it measures up to the Arch Eclipse. Well, what's standing out to me is this. So measuring from his collapse to Christian Eriksen's collapse was 487 days. And the number 487 is a prime number. That would be the 93rd prime number. And 93 is a heavy number connected to the crucifixion code. Christianity sums to 930 in English Sumerian. God's Son is 93 in ordinal. So is crucifix. So is Nazareth. All 93s. So that definitely stands out. So does the 16 months and 1 day. Maybe this is coincidental, but Danish footballer equals 161. And a very close 486. But it just makes me wonder, we get this collapse 2 days after the solar eclipse, which occurred at the North Pole, called the Arch Eclipse. And we just had this guy from St. Louis, where the St. Louis Arch is, collapse in connection to it. So there's probably a relation there. But yeah, just wanted to show the numerology of that incident. Again, feel free to check the description below for posts and videos on the collapses of Bert Smith and Charles Boulou. Who knows? I mean, the way I see it, when you get all these guys playing sports like soccer and hockey, which are highly physically demanding, it's only a matter of time before there's going to be an incident where someone has a collapse or some sort of heart failure. So the idea that it would never happen seems impossible to me. I mean, yeah, these guys are professional athletes. They're in great shape. But, once you get into your mid, late 30s especially, who knows what kind of medical deficiencies can come to the surface. So I don't know. It seems like these could be staged, but at the same time, I believe it's just every bit as likely that these are organic as well. Seems to be the matrix we live in. I don't know. But I'd like to see your opinions in the comments once again. Got a lot of views and a lot of discussion on the video yesterday about magnets in the NBA. That's something where I definitely think something's going on. Intentional. But these collapses, I think, may be more likely to be organic. I don't know. Either way, that's going to do it for this video. So thanks to everybody for jumping in. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll talk to you next time. Peace, love, and God bless. See ya.